Why would we switch to Mac after using a PC for more than 10 years in business? In this video, we will tell you why we used PC in the first place, why we decided to switch to Mac, which model we chose, the pros and cons, and finally, our recommendations. So let's dive in. I've used PC computers ever since I was a kid. They've come a long way since using floppy disks and America Online. When I started my first creative business back in 2010, I asked a friend of mine who worked at Adobe, who also had a degree in computer engineering and a master's in computer science, whether I should buy a Mac or stay with PC. He essentially said that if I was planning to primarily use Adobe products, Mac didn't have an advantage over the PC, so why spend that extra money? Instead, use that money and put it into a better PC. So that is what I did, and over the past 12 years, I've upgraded my PC about every 3 to 4 years, and overall, it has worked pretty well. So why did I decide to switch to Mac then? Here are a few reasons. First, I hired my first employee last year, and I bought him a $1,700 gaming PC. A gaming PC, you ask? Why? Because if you don't want to build your own PC, you're basically stuck buying a flashy gaming computer with lots of different lights and fancy features. My $3,000 custom PC doesn't have as many issues with crashing, but his crashed constantly. It was killing productivity. Something had to change, which brings me to the second reason, which is the M1 chip. Apple's new M1 chip, as you probably already know, has made Macs even more powerful, while surprisingly more affordable. Which brings me to my last reason. 2 words, Mac Studio. Apple finally released a powerful computer that works for creators and isn't $5,000. This was a huge win, so much so that we bought 2 of them. So which model did we choose? We bought the entry-level M1 Max version of the Mac Studio from Costco, and we paid $19.50 each. This model has nearly all the specs of the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro for $1,500 less. The question is, did we like it, or do we regret purchasing it? Before I can answer this question, we need to get into the pros and the cons. Let's start on the bright side of life with the pros. First, I love how compact it is. Compared to my PC tower, which takes up most of the room under my desk, this small machine can fit right on top of my desk and tuck out of the way. Second, it is super quiet. For those of you who haven't worked with a highly spec'd out PC, what you don't know is how loud the fans can get. It can get super annoying, and it's a constant hum in the background that I just get over and don't want to have anymore. And especially if you push that computer and make it work hard, it gets even louder. Third is the price. Like I mentioned before, this is the first time I feel like Mac has made a great computer that is at a reasonable price. Lastly, I'm thankful for the reliability. Not only are Macs the standard in the creative space, and many of our clients are using them, but you can rely on them with their customer service. With PCs, there are so many different brands and types that you aren't always sure you're going to be able to buy a good one that has great customer service. If that computer fails, it's going to cause you a big headache. Going with Mac gives us a little more confidence and security that hopefully it's going to make life a lot easier. Now, here are some of the things that we haven't been impressed with, aka the cons. First, from all the buzz about these new computers and everything they can do, I haven't been blown away by their performance. When I'm editing in Premiere Pro or After Effects, I feel like I'm seeing nearly the same performance as my 2-year-old $3,000 PC. That said, I'm seeing solid performance from a $2,000 Mac, so it isn't all bad. Second, I still hate that Macs aren't easily customizable. I loved being able to add memory to my PC or add an additional internal hard drive. This isn't as easy or accessible on a Mac. Third is the learning curve. Anytime you switch from something you've spent a lot of time on, especially something with a user interface, it can be challenging to learn that new system. The Mac operating system does have a lot of benefits, but it takes a while to get used to them. Even small things like the time and date that are now up in the top right corner of the screen versus in Windows was down on the bottom. Lastly, I hate the Mac Finder. I've been so used to how the folder systems work in PC that I find the Finder to be super frustrating. Like, for example, I want to cut a document or a file from one folder to the next. I love just doing Control X and Control V. But it's a different system on Mac. You have to do Command C to copy it, and then you want to go over and you have to press Command Option V to then paste it into that place, and that cuts it out, which is just confusing. Okay, so it's only been a month or so since we purchased these computers, but what are my recommendations for you as you decide whether you want to buy one? If you have $2,000, I think the Mac Studio is a great bang for your buck. The Apple ecosystem of products works seamlessly together, which is awesome, and I now think Mac is comparable in pricing and specs of PC. That said, I still have the PC and will continue to do some work on it. For us, it will be easier in the Apple ecosystem, especially as we add new members to our team. We can easily buy the same computer or one with comparable specs for them to work on without the fear of that computer not functioning right. Ultimately, whatever budget you have for your computer, make sure you do the research to figure out which will be best for your budget. Just because we have gone Mac doesn't mean that it is the best solution for everyone. Alright, as always, thank you so much for watching our video. It truly means the world to us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and give us a like if you want to help make the YouTube algorithms happy. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. Let's start on the bright side of life and go with the cons.